How you doing? We're gonna be talking about the most broken champions in MCOC. These champions are so broken that it's been over 20 months since Kabam has made content for them. The fact that Kabam doesn't want to make content for them, that's how broken they are. So let's start with Groot. Okay, I'm just kidding. It's not Groot. All right. So let's start with Mr. Sinister, also known as Kabam's biggest mistake, Mr. Sinister. What can I say about this champion? Uh, I also so he's number 4 on the list. I think he could definitely be number 3 on the list. But when it comes to Mr. Sinister, just like I said, he's Kabam's biggest mistake. He's so broken that he ended up getting nerfed. Supposedly, he's doing more damage than Kabam wanted, so they nerf his damage. Okay, and not only that, when it comes to his signature ability from his regen, it still doesn't work. Okay, it's been over a year since this guy got buff, and his science regen still doesn't work from his signature ability. Okay, so why it doesn't work and why doesn't Kabam fix it? So let's talk about the science regen part. So I'm not gonna go over the math, but let's say you win 3 fights against science. So that's gonna give you an extra 60% regen. Okay, but when it comes to Mr. Sinister, when he crits, he gains 70. When the opponent crits, he gains 70% of regen back. That's not including recovery mastery. Okay, so if you win 3 fights against Science Champion, that's going to be another 60% regen from his signature ability. At least you're going to gain 112% regen back if the opponent crits. So basically, if your opponent crits, you're gonna regen more health. Okay, and not even talking about with recovery mastery. With recovery mastery, you actually only need to win 2 fights against Science Champion. Okay, and then you're gonna regen more than the health you lost from crit damage. Okay, this guy is practically invincible if his science regen actually work. That's why Kabam is not fixing his regen. You know, something Kabam has mentioned when it comes to his buff, Karate Mike actually made a video when it comes to Mr. Sinister, when it comes to his regen. He's always been like that. Even before he got buff, he's always had that ability. And Karate Mike, actually even made a video on it. Okay. I don't know. I think this was 2 years ago, if not longer than that. And this guy's been working for Kabam for what? Over 3 years now? And somehow Kabam did not know this, or I think maybe they did, I don't know, but they did make an announcement that they knew that when it comes to Mr. Sinister, that his science regen doesn't work, that it might be too powerful if they fix it. But for some reason, they made him a 7-star. Even though they knew about his science regen being too powerful. That's one of those shake my head, I said slap in the forehead kind of thing. So of course now he's a 7-star. Kabam, there's no way they're gonna fix his science regen from his signature ability because he's just simply gonna be too broken. So I think he's definitely gonna be number 3 on this list. If his damage didn't get nerfed or they fix his science regen. So let's look at some gameplay from Mr. Sinister. To this day, this is still the most impressive thing I've seen when it comes to Mr. Sinister. I think this is probably the most impressive thing I've seen in the game so far. Okay. This is 40 seconds. Labyrinth of Legends Moon Knight. Okay, keep in mind when it comes to Labyrinth of Legends, there's a damage cap of 50,000. Okay. So what's the big deal? 40 seconds. Okay. Let's take a look at the health pool. Over 3.3 million health in 40 seconds without damage mastery, without boost. Just to magnify how insane this is, there's nobody in the game that can do this without a damage cap. Okay, I think Nick Fury can come very close as the 7-star rank 4 when it comes to second life with damage mastery and with boost without damage cap. Okay, this is without damage mastery, without boost, with a damage cap. Just to say how insane this is. This is to me still the most impressive thing I've ever seen. Can Hella do this? I think a 7-star rank 4 Hella can probably do this, but without a damage cap. Okay, this is without a doubt the most impressive thing I've ever seen in when it comes to Mr. Sinister. I do want to warn you guys, I do think this is the pre-nerf version. Like I mentioned, he did get nerfed, so I do not know for sure. Okay, so let's take a look at what Stonehenge said about this fight. I took him through Abyss a few times, was able to get 27 seconds fight versus the champion and a minute and 5 seconds versus the Red Deadpool. With the longest fight there, aside from the collector being like 2 minutes. The sheer damage output is so glorious. That is pretty crazy, okay? I remember, so that's basically about less than 30 minutes uh, to clear Abyss. I remember the best players in the world back then was taking like 3 hours, if not longer, to beat Abyss of Legends, okay? And this guy probably did it in less than 30 minutes. This is mind boggling, okay? 27 seconds against the champion. The champion has almost 2.7 million health. So basically, he's doing like almost 100,000 damage per second. And keep in mind, when it comes to Abyss, there's a damage cap of 85,000, I believe. So that is crazy, okay? That is crazy, okay? And what else? Deadpool has like 5.7 million health. Not only that, he keeps regenning every time you beat him. Maybe Stonehenge did it with like he has like a despair to stop his healing when it comes to Red Deadpool, but that's pretty impressive. 65 seconds, and there's no videos of this. You just have to take his word. But when it comes to Stonehenge, this guy is pretty credible. You know, this guy is one of the best players in the world, definitely in the top 1% for sure. I've seen him take down 7-star rank 4 Surfin in 41 seconds and Node 46 in the Lions War. 41 seconds, 7-star rank 4 Surfing, okay? That is faster than any champion in the game. That is faster than any Mystic champion in the game. And Mystic champions are supposed to counter Surfing, okay? But this guy, he just counters everybody. It's so balanced, right? Wink, wink, balance. But I do believe that this is the broken version. So when it comes to Kid Sharma, he did say, and the thing is, suicides don't make much of a difference. I do. I don't really agree with that. I think if you have 10 charges, then suicides won't make much of a difference, or damage masteries. But I do think that it definitely does make a difference. It depends on how many charges you got, I guess. So we're gonna take a look at a gameplay that some people think that this champion is broken. So let's compare Mr. Sinister to Kate Bishop. Keep in mind this is a 4-star rank 4 with class advantage. Okay, so let's see how fast can Kate Bishop beat this abomination. So keep in mind this is a 4-star rank 4 with class advantage. So some people think that Kate Bishop is broken. So let's see Kate Bishop compared to Mr. Sinister. Okay, so let's look at the time and how much health she finished. She finished with what, 16% health, 21 seconds. So let's take a look at a 3-star Mr. Sinister. Okay, a rank 4 3-star. Okay, this is less than half of the attack because it's without class advantage. And keep in mind, with Kate Bishop, her attack, or Abomination's attack, is lower because of Kate Bishop's class advantage. Okay, there's so many factors to think about. All right, let's see how much time we did. Okay, that 21 seconds, the same time. Okay, with less than half of the attack in 21 seconds. Okay, just how balance. Okay, just it's not even, I don't know, it's how broken Mr. Sinister is. If Kate Bishop is so called broken, imagine Mr. Sinister. Okay, he just did the same damage with less than half of the attack and with more health. So let's take a look at this fight again. Okay, and this is with 0 charges. Keep in mind this is with 0 charges. Okay, so look at this. Also, as I mentioned, when it comes to science regen, it doesn't work. So I wouldn't gain an extra 40% regen from willpower. So the thing about Mr. Sinister too is, when it comes to like poisons, it doesn't even really matter. Uh, they cannot reduce his healing ability. If you look back at Kate Bishop, when I had three poisons compared to two, I had less willpower because she reduces. If the poison reduces the healing, but when it comes to Mr. Sinister, it doesn't matter how many poisons you got, you're still gonna regen the same amount. Whoever came up this buff when it comes to Mr. Sinister, I think just really love this character. But there's one part they messed up when it comes to his regen that I don't know what happened there, but I don't know. I mean, yeah. So something to note, let's just look at it. When it comes to Abomination, it's all RNG when it comes to inflicting poison on you. Let's say he inflict like what do you call this? 5 poison on me instead, and I would have finished probably the same health as a 4-star rank 4 Kate Bishop, okay, and this is a 3-star rank 4, okay, but I would have finished a faster time if I had 5 poison on me. So why is that? So because when it comes to Mr. Sinister, when it comes to non-damaging debuffs, okay, he can throw it back to the opponent, so he'll get rid of the damaging debuff. But if they're not robot, it transferred to degen against opponents. So let's say even if I had to finish the same amount of time as Kate Bishop, I would have or the same amount of health, I would have finished faster because of the more poison on me. Okay, and the fact that when it comes to his when it comes to his regen, it doesn't even work. So if it works, I would have finished with more health and faster time if his science regen actually works. Okay, if I had 5 poison on me, when it comes to Kate Bishop, she would have been KO if she had 5 poison on her. Okay, and keep in mind this is without zero charges. Okay, zero charges. So if with 10 charges, okay, really mostly really 6 charges, most of his damage increase it comes from cosmic and the mutant, the prowess mutant. Okay, so really let's say just take 10 charges. With 10 charges, his damage is going to be double what you see now. Okay, and this is without synergies. With synergies, this is probably a third of his damage. So let me explain without synergy. Okay, so let's say without damage mastery, it's probably like a third of his damage. So let's say without damage mastery, his damage is like a 5. Okay, with 0 charges. With 10 charges, his damage is like 15. So his damage will be 3 times stronger. With damage mastery, with damage mastery and 0 charges, it would be like a 9. Okay, and then with 10 charges, it would be 18. So it would be double his damage. So really, it's just crazy how broken this guy is with 10 charges. And that's what we're talking about. Mr. Sinister with 10 charges, they just don't make content for him because that's how broken he is. If anywhere Mr. Sinister can come up with 10 charges, other than like Necropolis, obviously Incursion, and you're gonna see some Incursion gameplay, of course. That's just how broken this guy is. So let's take a look at this one right here. Nope, this one. So keep in mind, this is King Groot with over 5.2 million health. Let's see how fast can Mr. Sinister take this fight down. Okay, so a lot of misconception when it comes to Mr. Sinister is, oh, he's just special one. That's it. That's that's not true at all. He When it comes to incursion, really, and a lot of fights is you could just throw a special 2 when it comes to Mr. Sinister, and you're probably wondering what's going on. Why is King Root not shrugging off the stun? Okay, why is he not healing? It's because when it comes to Mr. Sinister, he inflicts 100% concussion when it comes to the special 2 and when it comes to the special 3, which we're going to take a look at later when it comes to his fighting abilities. So let's see how long this fight. Keep in mind, I have one science regen that doesn't even work. Okay, and I didn't really get lucky with the 3 other charges because you're supposed to get 3 random charges here. And when it comes to Mr. Sinister, This fight is almost over. Did you see that? 549,000. I know this is incursion, but 40 seconds. Let's take a look at the health pool again. Come on. Over 5.2 million health in 40 seconds. Okay. That is just crazy. Not to mention, as I mentioned, when it comes to science region, it doesn't work. And this is a 6-star, by the way, with 143,000 health. And if his science region works, he's going to be always pretty much 100% health all the time, because he's going to get at least 60% of, what do you call that? Regen potency extra if he wins 3 fights against science. That's the reason why they don't want to fix his science regen. And really, he, depending on the rank, of course, but if your opponent, like let's say you're always pretty much going to be at 100% health if you win 3 fights against science, your opponent crits, as long as they don't KO you from that crit, you know, he's just going to be back to 100% health. Okay, it's like so broken. Like that's why they don't want to fix his regen. Like in earlier rounds in incursion, he's just like super broken depending on the rank you have. Let's just go back to this one. So what else? Let me just talk about this first. So here, I didn't really get lucky here when it comes to Mr. Sinister. So I'm supposed to get 3 random passive buffs, and I got a science which doesn't work. I only really got 1 cosmic out of the 3, and then 1 skill. Okay, so not really lucky. Okay, so when it comes to Mr. Sinister, okay, like assuming it all crits, he can do over 400k as a 6-star without boost when it comes to special 2. So when you're up against robots, you can pretty much just throw his SP2. So really, if you have 10 charges of this guy, you can just pretty much spam SP2 because it does so much damage. And you can see just 1 hit alone did over 500k. And I'm talking about his special 2 has 4 what do you call that? 4 hits. Okay, that last hit alone did over almost 600,000 damage. Okay, I know this is incursion, blah blah blah, but without hacks, this guy can do like over 400,000 damage as what do you call this, as a 6-star without boost. And keep in mind, I don't have Professor X. Professor X can give him an extra 100% special attack bonus as well, and I don't have him. And go back to this as well. Let's go back to this fight. So here, so I managed to pull 2 science, right? And imagine if you win 3 fights against science champion. Okay, that means your regen will be 100% potency. So your willpower would be double, and every time your opponent crits, you're going to get an extra 100% regen. So let me do the math. Can I do math? What is it? Is it really? I think so. It would be like you regen 140% health if your opponent crits. That is crazy, okay? So as you can see, I managed to get 2 science and it doesn't even work. So let's talk about when it comes to Mr. Sinister, when it comes to is special 2 and special 3. So let's go into the game. Yeah, there's so many things to talk about. This guy is so crazy. When it comes to special 2, attack 2, he inflicts 100% chance to inflict a concussion. Okay, so oh my god, I can just talk about this guy forever. But special attack 3 as well. Not only that, when it comes to special attack 2, inflicts a stun. And not only that, when it comes to special 3, he can power steal opponent as well, kind of like Doom. And when it comes to his concussion, you know who has that ability when it comes to concussion? Quake, okay? And they don't want to make Quake as a 6-star. And this guy is released as a 7-star. He can also block unblockable special attacks when it comes to non-tech. I mean, immune to reverse control, 100% bleed resistant. I mean, I can go on and on about this dude, okay? So going back to this fight, so you're probably wondering, when I throw my special 2, why doesn't he shrug it off from his fury buffs? Like I already mentioned, because of his concussion, okay, he can't regen and he cannot shrug off the stun because of the concussion. And it doesn't even matter. You can put in like 10 different extra nodes in here: tenacity, personal space regeneration, flux dispersal, long distance relationship, combat deja vu, anything else you want to add. it really doesn't matter. The outcome would be almost the same because his concussion is so powerful, man. So he's number four on the list of most broken champions in the game. So number three on the list, I mean, three, two, one. I can tell you, they're so broken. You just we're gonna compare them to champions in the game. With some people, at least social media thinks that they're broken. Imagine if they get a buff. Okay, so let's take a look at number three, and it's Aegon. So I want to emphasize this is when it comes to Mr. Sinister with 10 charges, and this is with Aegon at 999. So he gets all these abilities basically when he reached 1,000 hits on the combo meter. Okay, I do think Mr. Sinister is better than Aegon, this without a doubt. Okay, but we're talking about most broken champion, and I think a lot of people get confused between best champion and broken champion. Okay, so like a like I can agree that there's no doubt Mr. Sinister is better than Aegon, but uh, yeah, he can give you more rewards. Like Mr. Sinister can give you the best rewards in the game, but I do think when it comes to Aegon 999, it's more broken, especially that Mr. Sinister got nerfed, and when it comes to his damage and as well as his regen doesn't work. That's why I put him at number four, and Aegon 999 is number three on the list. So just because Mr. Sinister can give you more rewards than Aegon in the game, it doesn't make it more broken than Aegon 999. He's definitely better. I would say he's, comparing the two, who's better, who's the best, then I would say Mr. Sinister is better. But he's not more broken than Aegon 999, at least the way Mr. Sinister is now. Okay? So let's talk about, and I'm really more of like, when it comes to like, I know most people would rather have the best champion than the most broken champion. That's fine. That's just not me. I like champions to push their limits, okay? To see what their limits can go to, like their maximum potential. I'm just gonna let you know now, when it comes to the top two, there is no limit. Their potential is limitless, okay? And when it comes to Aegon, he's just imagine Aegon 999, okay? We're gonna compare Aegon 99. We'll never see Aegon 999 in Battlegrounds. That's how broken this guy is. So just think about, some people think Juggernaut is broken, right? Imagine if Juggernaut had a buff that can shrug off uh, non-damaging debuffs as well as damaging debuffs if he crits. Okay, that is pretty much Aegon 999. I think if Juggernaut got a buff like that, I think he would be better than Mr. Sinister right now, considering that Mr. Sinister, like I mentioned, when it comes to his signature ability, it doesn't work from his regen. And I would pick Juggernaut over Mr. Sinister if he had that ability. And I think that's the biggest weakness when it comes to Juggernaut, is when he gets non-damaging debuff on him, his damage is just not good. So if he's able to do that when it comes to Juggernaut, he would be, I think, the best buff in MCOC. So imagine if Juggernaut could shrug off non-damaging debuffs when he crits, or damaging debuffs, pretty much debuffs, okay? And then imagine if he can double his attack when it comes to Juggernaut and basically unblockable the entire time. That is Aegon 999. Okay, that is Aegon 999. So basically, I think without a doubt, Aegon 999 can out damage a 7-star rank 4 Juggernaut without a doubt. Okay, in pretty much any content in the game. Okay, any content name Aegon 99 as a 6-star can out damage a 7-star rank 4 Juggernaut. Okay, so basically, Aegon 999 is basically Juggernaut. If his damage was double, he pretty much can shrug off debuffs if his hits crit, and he's unblockable the entire time. That is Aegon 999 if he was comparing to a Juggernaut buff concept. So let's look at some gameplay. So this is incursion, I know, yada yada, but look at the health pool. Over 1.15 million health. Okay, you're gonna fight opponents in battlegrounds with like 350 to 400,000 health, right? So just imagine if there was Aegon 999 in battlegrounds. Okay, this is pretty much the outcome. I think it's even faster than this. Okay, if you're dealing with an opponent with 350,000 health or 400,000 health. So this fight took how long? It took 13 seconds. Okay, so imagine you have Aegon 999. This is pretty much what he will do in battlegrounds without hacks, of course. That is pretty crazy. That's why you'll never. That's how broken Aegon 999 is. I personally think he would have been able to beat at least 350,000 health in in the first special attack. I think when it comes to this first special attack, right here, uh, opponent with 350,000 health would have been KO, I believe. Okay, in battlegrounds, if Aegon 999 exists, but of course he's just too broken if he does exist like the way he is now when it comes to battlegrounds. And what is that? Well, you finish with 95% health in 10 seconds. What's your score? It's at least 50,000. It's probably like closer to 55,000. And I don't even know how you can beat 55,000 points in what do you call that? In battlegrounds. So yeah. So I really debated which is number two and number one. And I'm just gonna go with Angela as the number two most broken champion in the game. And like I mentioned, these two champions have limitless potential between Angela and Hela. That's why Kabam will never make content for these champions because how broken they are. They pretty much gonna have to nerf the Odin synergy. So let me explain what that means when it comes to Odin synergy. So let's take a look at Odin synergy. So you do need at least a 5-star when it comes to Hela, but 4-star is good enough for Angela. So when it comes to Odin synergy, so when it comes to Thor and Hela, he gained plus 5% buff duration for each fight the team has won. So that's Hela. When it comes to Loki and Angela, plus 5% buff potency for each fight the team has won. So when it comes to incursion, they're limitless fights in incursion. Okay, so that means they're potential when it comes to Angela and Hela are limitless. So I decided to put uh, Angela as number two. So let's talk about Angela first. So I'm gonna explain why when I talk about Hela, but Angela, okay, this champion is so broken. It has so much potential. Just imagine Angela with 1,000% buff potency. They're never gonna let Angela with that much outside of incursion, okay? And even then, think about it. Aegon as well. I didn't even mention it. When it comes to Aegon, like it's been 20 months since they created what do you call this? Let's go back to Aegon. When it comes to Aegon, it's been 20 months since they created a content for him because what happened in Necropolis. This guy pretty much can take on every fight in Necropolis. And right now I'm doing like a challenge. Can I come explore Necropolis 100% only using 6-star Aegon? Okay, that's how broken this guy is at 999 that Kabam suddenly stopped making content for him. And so same thing with Angela, and really it's mostly Angela. I think that's why they reduced the rewards in incursion to zone 15 because of her how broken she is. Okay, so just imagine Angela with plus 1,000% buff potency. Okay, so imagine if you had Cosmic Ghost Rider's damage and Wolverine's healing ability. That is pretty much Angela with 1,000% plus buff potency. Okay, it would be nice to have Wolverine's bleed too, especially as a horseman. But for some reason, I don't know why Angela, who has a sword, who only hits opponent with her sword, somehow cannot inflict bleed. Kabam's logic for you. I don't get it. But pretty much Angela at 1,000% buff potency is pretty much Cosmic Ghost Rider with Wolverine's regen. Okay. Now anything past that, it's gonna be imagine Cosmic Ghost Rider with Wolverine's healing ability, but with higher damage and with higher regen ability. If you don't believe me, we're gonna take a look at some gameplay. So right here, as you can see, we're at zone 109. I do have one hack here, but I don't have any rare hacks. I don't even know what the hack is that I have. Keep in mind, this is with Fluxus Verso with over 1.6 million health. Okay. let's see how fast can Angela do this. Keep in mind, I pretty much don't have any hacks out here. This is Zone 109. I barely, and I also have 3-star, what do you call that? 3-star Thor Relic. Keep that in mind. As you can see, I'm barely doing any damage because of Flux Dispersal. So let's see how long with 6-star Angela here, basically with no hacks, can do. Did you see that heavy attack? Over 250,000. So let's see how long can Angela do this. Keep in mind, this Angela pretty much has no hacks in incursion right here. So if you're wondering why doesn't he throw a special 3, because when it comes to sector 1, they're pretty much power lock when it comes to special 3. They cannot throw their special 3. Let's see how long did Angela do that. Okay, keep in mind, I don't have any hacks here. Just one, which really doesn't matter. 42 seconds. Okay, it doesn't. Cosmic Ghost Rider with max boost, with max recoil, max attack could not do that. Okay, could not do that. Okay, this is with flux dispersal, and I'm talking about Cosmic Ghost Rider, the highest rank possibly you can give them, max boost, max damage mastery, without flux dispersal, without damage cap, could not do 42 seconds. In how much? In how much health was this? How much health was this Spider-Man? Over 1.6 million health in 42 seconds. And Cosmic Ghost Rider, no chance can do that. Okay? And I've seen plenty of gameplay of Cosmic Ghost Rider, and I proves that Cosmic Ghost Rider cannot do that much damage in 42 seconds. And I practically, like I said, I don't really have any hacks here. This is about Angela plus 1500% buff potency. So basically, this is Angela. Like if Cosmic Ghost Rider and Wolverine, basically Cosmic Ghost Rider's damage and Wolverine's regen potency, but with higher damage and higher potency. This is pretty much Angela. And let's look at this one. And keep in mind, this is Aspect of Nightmares. Okay, not minor, Aspect of Nightmares. And I do have hacks here, and these are pre-nerf hacks. Keep that in mind. As you can see, I'm also using a 3-star Thor Relic. Just to let you know, with the protection, my damage is practically half here, but we're just not gonna really talk about damage because these are pre-nerf hacks. I do believe they nerfed the hacks and they changed defense cascade. A lot of it has to do with Angela, without a doubt, because how broken she is when it comes to incursion. Look at this. I was supposed to lose 50% health in 12 seconds, and Angela is regenning. She was able to out regen Aspect of Nightmares. Did you see that? She was able to out regen Aspect of Nightmares. So basically, she regen more than 50% health in what is that, 12 seconds. Okay, that is crazy how powerful her regen is once you go far in incursion. So I do believe when it comes to Hela, she is the most broken champion in the game. Okay, I was gonna say without a doubt, but Angela is very close, so I'm not gonna say without a doubt. They both have limitless potential when it comes to Angela and Hela, and I do think if you have, like, if you're the best player in the world, you have a lot of skills, very high skill player. Hella's a lot more better than Angela. Okay, that's why I was wondering, debating whether should I put Angela or Hella, because as an average player, I didn't really factor that in, the skill part, but I still think Hella is more broken though, even without the skill part. And you're gonna see some gameplay when I'm talking about, but with the skill gameplay, I mean, this champion as a 6-star has pretty much how many solos and how many records in Necropolis if you're a very skilled player. He used to have the records in Abyss and Labyrinth, but I think Mr. Sinister, at least the pre, I don't know if it's the pre-nerf version or not, has pretty much beaten all her time. But when it comes to Necropolis, I think she still has most of the records, at least when it comes to time, for sure, but maybe even solos. That's how broken she is, and she's a 6-star. This is with very skilled gameplay, of course. So I do believe we're gonna see 7-star Hercules before we see 7-star Hela. And I think most of it because Kabam knows that they're gonna make more money from 7-star Hercules than 7-star Hela. That's why I do believe 7-star Hercules will come first than what do you call this? Than Hela as a 7-star. So let's take a look at his signature ability. And the first time Hela would be knocked out each fight, she gains an indestructible buff for for 7 seconds. And with Odin synergy, let's say 20 fights, that's plus 100% buff duration. So with 20 fights, this will turn into 14 seconds of indestructibility. So to keep it short and really simple, what Hela is, she's just a broken version of Hercules. There's no question about it. And we're going to look at some gameplay. So we're at zone 113. Keep in mind, once you get to zone 110, what do you call this? There's no more hacks. So this is pretty much all Hela. And keep in mind, this is only a 5-star. If you're wondering, what's the indestructible? Why is the indestructible so long and the unstoppable is because of Heimdall synergy and Odin synergy. I have like over 1,000% buff duration. I think over 1,500% buff duration. So you would expect Heimdall synergy to last at least 30 seconds, maybe about 34 seconds. So that's why you can see that unstoppable and indestructible for so long. And really, there's really no skill involved when it comes to like with Heimdall synergy. You just pretty much, what do you call this? Just hold heavy attack. That's why it's like really no skill involved. So let's take a look at this fight first, okay? How much was the health, by the way? Come on. This is over 1.7 million health, okay? Spider-Man, okay? Let's see how fast did that take. Over 1.7 million health, and keep in mind this is a 5-star, okay? 5-star, 32 seconds. Okay, this is a 5-star with no hacks in incursion. Hercules, of course, cannot do that. I would be impressed if even a 7-star rank 6 Hercules can do this damage in 32 seconds with 1.7 million health. Okay, with probably with damage mastery and boost, 7-star and 12 charges, I could see Hercules be able to do this damage 32 seconds. Yeah, probably. But right now, no chance Hercules can do this, even with damage mastery and boost. And Ghost Rider, of course, not even close. Cosmic Riders cannot do that damage. Over 1.7 million health as a 6-star with max boost and damage mastery. Okay, in 32 seconds. So this fight is going to take longer, a lot of it, because when it comes to Black Widow, she does have that ability to evade, so that is very annoying, but it doesn't even matter. As you can see, she's going to trigger the Heimdall synergy. It's going to be about 32 seconds, if not longer, probably like 34 seconds around there, and I'm just holding heavy attack. So there's with Heimdall synergy, and really even with just her signature ability alone, it's like there's no really skill involved, you know. That's why I put Hela over Angela, because I do think when it comes to incursion outside of zone 110, outside of that, past that, Hela is better, because I do think Hela is better when it comes to incursion without hacks compared to Angela. So I eventually, even a 2-star Hela can out damage a 6-star rank 5 ascendant Hercules. That's how crazy that is. Just even 2000% buff potency, I mean buff duration, a 2-star Hela can beat out damage a 6-star rank 5 Hercules. That is how crazy, how broken Angela is once you ramp her up with the Odin synergy. It is just so broken. It is just crazy. Like keep in mind, a 2-star compared to 6-star, a 6-star rank 5 ascendant has 28 times more attack and 28 times more health. And I do think with 2000% buff duration, and I believe, and you can only really test this in incursion, but I believe a 2-star Hela can solo more fights than Hercules as a max 6-star. If with Hela with 2000% buff potency in incursion, or really anywhere. I mean, Hela would definitely have a hard time when it comes to champion inflicts nullify, and what else? Tranquility as well. So besides those fights, even a 2-star Hela, I guess armor break immune champions and power play would definitely slow her down. But even then, I think she can still solo that as a 2-star with just 2000% buff potency. And I've actually taken Hela to zone 167. Okay, I fought a Rintra with over 6.3 million health, or 6.3 million health. Okay, with 350,000 attack. all right, with 5-star Hela. Okay, so that's 2,500%, 2,500% above Ponzi. So that's it. I think Hela is the most broken champion in the game, and I do think Hela is a 7-star. There'll be a 7-star Hercules before we see 7-star Hela, and I don't think they'll ever make content for Angela or Hela. If they do, they will have to nerf the Odin synergy because how broken they are. Thank you.